UGA is, in fact, DBU. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, and this just in, um, running is going to be a key component for Georgia next season. Next, Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money, monarchmoney.com. Promo code Locked On College, 50% off your first year. Today, I want to answer 3 questions after we thank you for being here. The loyal people who are here every single day, who download, the first listeners, the daily listeners. You guys are fantastic, the everydayers. And then those who listen all the way to the end, because the loyal third segment listeners get a treat every single day. I got 3 questions for you. One, is Georgia recruits shutting down their recruitment a big deal? Is that a big deal? I answer that because another one has come out and said, no, I'm good. We're not taking any more visits. We're not going to any other places. This is a common theme, especially this year. And I think it's telling for what NIL is doing and how I think what I'm hearing Kirby's handling recruitment as. I'm going to ask that question. Second, is Georgia DBU, and how many more years will it continue to be DBU? The answer, as long as Kirby's there. But I'm going to talk about DBU and what the emphasis has been this year and next year that you can already see looking at it. Then last, I'm going to talk about running the dang ball, Bobo. And this just in, I think we're going to have a lot of success on the ground. Lots and lots of success. Let's get into it. First, people just shutting down their recruitment all over the place. Jordan Smith, the number, depending on the service that you're using, somewhere in the top 70, 56 on some top recruit. Number 6 safety in the entire nation, 6'1", 185 out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Chose the Dogs over likes of Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, and other SEC people. But let me tell you this right now. He has come out and said, I don't want to be looking elsewhere. I don't want to be talking elsewhere. I have no desire to go anywhere else but Georgia. Recruitment is shut down. Now, in this day of NIL and in what we are calling, hey, wait until the ink is signed, wait until they're on campus. Yes, all of that is still true. We can't guarantee a kid because he verbally committed to Georgia. We can only guarantee it when he is enrolled and when he's on campus and when he's in helmets and pads with Kirby Smart just absolutely getting after him in that DB room. That is true. Okay. I'm not fighting that. But Jordan has, I think, the hard commitment, and not the hard commitment, but shutting it down, giving indications that he's not going elsewhere. And this is as good of a lock as you can get. And this is why it's important. If you look at this kid's tape, what he's able to do is he is not just a in-the-box safety. While he can have that ability, and he does, in fact, have lots and lots of ability to smack people upside the dome and get them to the ground, this guy was a receiver. He was a kick returner. Not only can he play defense, he is super athletic. He was much in the box. He feels comfortable around a whole lot of hog molly, big-boned dudes in the middle of the field. He's not scared to get his nose in there, but he also has a bunch of wiggle and a bunch of north and south to him. His game reminds me a lot of Tyke Smith. Tyke, there were a couple times where Tyke was back and working a couple of returns, but not a great deal. It was more just kind of for show than anything else. But he has that straight line speed. Coming down the alley was very, very much part of his game and very, very good at it. Both him and Christopher Smith, the Smith brothers back there, were a dynamic duo for us. But Tyke had the ability. He wasn't the biggest guy. He wasn't 210, 215. He was somewhere around 205. And if you look at what Jordan is bringing to the game, he has straight line, knock you out, but also get going, turn the hips, and get depth, climb in a hurry. KJ Bolden is not like him. Malachi Stark's not like him. KJ Bolden is a bit more. He comes out of the box. He is a thumper as well. There's no doubt about that. But he doesn't have that fierce tenacity, straight line, I'm going to hit you. He comes in the box and can actually break down in the tackle, get within the bucket, so to speak, put his feet there and chop them and get them going directionally. Jordan, on the other hand, is going to come like an absolute bolt of lightning, hit you and take you down. I think this is a big deal for Georgia, truth be told. I really, really do. And the reason it's a big deal is because what I'm going to talk about next is DBU, but the shutdown of a recruitment of another top 50 guy in the nation. I think this counts 7 guys now that have shut it down, said no more. I think this is a big deal because it allows what Kirby is saying and what I think DBU is going to say. And we talk about NIL and how that looks going forward, because we have a couple other guys that the NIL landscape is changing drastically. Another Georgia target from the state of Georgia who isn't coming to Georgia because NIL has changed college football forever. This is big because it allows Kirby Smart and company to say, we're going to go hunt elsewhere. We're going to go find, we're going to go look, and we're going to talk, and we're going to go sway people elsewhere. You locked in, Jordan, because I'm not going to go ahead and waste my time on this. And I do truly think that's a pitch that Kirby is giving. I think as I listen, as I talk, as I see, the pitch that Kirby is giving is, look, I know who I am. I know who Georgia is. We want you. But also at the same time, I'm not going to deal with what we had last year, which was a bunch of prima donnas, a bunch of people that didn't want to play. Y'all remember when players leave Georgia, I don't say their name a lot. Carson Beck, I say because he's still in there, because he's a notable transfer into Miami. But y'all remember when we were all so stoked because we got Alabama safety coming on in. He was going to commit to Georgia. He was. And then he went to Bama and Saban left. He comes on to Georgia. And we were so excited because he was going to add depth. And then he's celebrating with the opposite team after game. Remember that happened on Georgia's watch. Remember when the other transfer quarterback and the starting quarterback were laughing on the bench during a loss? You remember that? Remember Carson Beck not seeming to care about football in the least bit? Because I remember those images are seared in my brain. I think what Kirby Smart has decided to do is he's turned the corner, and he's saying, look, I did it with Justin Fields. I ran a fake play in a monumental point of a game, a fake punt, not a fake play, a fake punt, to get him what he wanted. Okay, great. I gave in to a couple recruits. I let them no more. If you're coming to Georgia, you're coming to Georgia, and you're going to commit, and you're going to be here. And if you're not, tell me now so I can move on from you. You want to play? Come play. I'll develop you. I'll get you drafted. You'll make mega millions in the league doing what you love to do. This is what I can do for you. Are you going to do the same? And I think it's going to be all right in the NIL because he's doing it with kids that are still getting their bag. He's not going to shortchange them. He's not going to say to them, hey, guess what? You don't get anything. No. He's going to give them their just deserved. But he's also saying, but just like life, just as in life, you can get that one contract and then get cut because you got guaranteed money. But then you get cut because you can't play and you don't make another cent in the league. And then you go bankrupt and you take all your people with you. Kirby is saying, look, Jordan Smith, look, recruits, you hear you're not, let me know, in or out. You'll get yours. Not more than the seniors because I want to give them theirs. Not more than juniors because I want to get them theirs. But you're going to get yours here. Let me show you. Here's a taste. Are you here? Are you with me? That's what Kirby's saying to him, and it seems to be working as he shuts down his recruitment, and I think it is changing. We're going to talk next about DBU and also Big Texas Oil is winning in recruitment. What do I mean? But first, these. These are, in fact, Monarch Money. Ever wish your managing money felt easier? Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your saving plan or a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO giving you full visibility and control of your finances. It's more than just budgeting apps, complete financial command center. In addition to managing money, you're also building wealth. I think it was surprising as I started interacting with Monarch Money. I actually got to see just what I was spending and categorizing things, putting in a plain view, having the ability to categorize them myself so I actually know what it says and not just a random filler was so incredibly good. Take control of finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right. I talked about the shutdown in recruitment being a big deal for Kirby Smart and company. I'm talking about DBU next because not only is Jordan Smith shutting down his recruitment, he's a player within the system of Kirby Smart saying, I'm focusing on defensive backs. We went out and got 3 transfer portal additions in the safety room alone. We have 2 coming back at corner that are trying to go ahead and accentuate their draft stock, as well as Ellis Robinson, who I think gets playing time at star, as if not beating out somebody for a position in corner because I think he's that good. But word is as well, Tyreek Green, another 4-star nationally, top 150, is going to choose Georgia over Miami, Auburn, and Arkansas. 5'11 and a half, 195. Safety defensive back. Let me just tell you a little bit. 100 meter in 10.98. At 195, he looks really, really good. He's not in cover. Sticking on a dude in the slot, running with him and being his shadow is not his best. But in the box, coming downhill, being a safety that's going to make up great run support as well as screen support, as well as making sure he's back on the cover. Look, I think all indications are he's getting crystal ball. Tyreek Green coming to Georgia. I think the number of additions that we have in this class at defensive back is absolutely ludicrous. Georgia is Kirby Smart and company going all out on this and saying, we want all of them, every last one of them. We got Jordan Smith, Justice Fitzpatrick, Caden Harris, Fort in the fold already, Calicut in the fold already, Jones in the fold already. These are the guys that are in there. Now you're going to go add on top of it another guy, Green on top of that. And Kirby is saying, I'm going to play you all over the field. You're going to get rotational depth. This is turning into linebacker U and DBU at the same time. When we had 3 rotational players in the national championship hunting seasons, this might be 3 rotational safeties, star. When Georgia's doing great, the star position was great. That's why we saw Malachi Starks come on over. Saw Dan Jackson come on over, try to play that position. That is pivotal within the system. If Kirby is saying, I'm going to throw bullets at this, I got a couple of corners, a couple of safeties, some in the box guys, some over the top guys. I'm going to see who can play star, because if I have star lockdown, you got the Mike linebacker right there in the middle, the CJ Allen, which, by the way, we think we have better linebackers than CJ, but CJ is pivotal because if he locks down his role, if the weakness at Georgia is at star and at Mike, bad things are happening everywhere. You can have talented corners, you can have talented defensive ends. Those 2 positions are key within the system. You can have better players elsewhere, but if the absolute weak point are those, it's not good. Kirby is saying, I'm going to throw things at here. I'm going to see what sticks. I'm going to see who sticks. I'm going to see if one of these 7 guys can not only add depth and add rotation, because when you're recruiting, you're not thinking to yourself, okay, here's 7, they're all going to start on defense. No, that can't happen. The math doesn't math. But what you are saying is somebody going to redshirt, who's going to pop, who's going to have competition, who's going to go ahead and play some safety, who's going to come down to the box, who's going to play star. DBU is alive and well. Kirby Smart is. You look at the NFL, and it's littered with DBs from Georgia all over the place. Same thing with linebackers. I think Kirby saw frustration on last year's group was very thin up the middle, but also very thin on the back end with defensive back group. And he said no more to this. I think we do get Tyreek Green. I think he is crystal ball to us. I think we do get him, and I think he comes in and competes. He is much more what I was talking about with our current crop of recruits. He is even more of a bulldozer. He's going to have to improve in coverage skills, but I think if you put him at the star position, going up and line up on a tight end and coming down in the box a little bit right off the edge on the 7, 8, 9 side, it's going to be okay. Tyreek Green, let's talk about something really wild. Oil money is making a giant impact on NIL. Texas Tech. Yes, that Texas Tech. Yes, the Patrick Mahomes Texas Tech. Yes, the Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, the forgotten about people in a just a forsaken land of Texas. First of all, Texas is forsaken, but Texas Tech is another forsaken place. They go ahead and they are being crystal barred. We have the number one defensive end, let's call it. I don't know if he's number one in the nation. A lot of services have him. LaDainian Gaitan, number 1, 6'3", 225, out of Savannah, Georgia, class of 2027. Not this year's crop, but next year's crop, 2027. Right now, people saying, no, Georgia's got him. But he's getting recruited by Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, Georgia. Every single one of the big hitters is on him. Highly, highly rated, incredible edge player. And I don't know if you know this, but edge was quite good for Georgia when we were making those runs in the championship. Texas Tech comes on in and says, I'll beat out Bama. I'll beat out Florida. I'll beat out Florida State. I'll beat out Georgia because, and there's no way of going about this. There's literally no way. Felix, offensive tackle, number 1 tackle in 2027. He commits to Texas Tech and he says, you can say it's over $5 million in valuation of NIL. $5 million for a kid who's 18, hasn't played one single snap. Might do good at Texas Tech. And again, they're starting something that's kind of like Colorado a little bit to me. You're going to go ahead and get a couple guys over there, but 21 mil goes real quick over a given year when you have to keep guys happy and keep them interested and keep them playing, because a tackle and an edge guy is going to go ahead and need wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks, and you can pay for those, but then develop and so on and so forth. It's wild to me that in a day and age where Kirby Smart, I just got done talking first segment, how he is saying, I want you committed. Are you part of here? You're going to get your bag. I'm going to go seek elsewhere. If you're committed, lock it in. And we got all of a sudden the number 1 recruit in the nation, number 1 guy in Georgia, who was a Georgia heavy lean, if not soft commit, all crystal balls going his way. Now with a simple turn of the checkbook, he's going to get his, and he's going to go over to play Texas Tech. Now he's going to play 3 years at Texas Tech. He's going to get $5 million. And then he probably is going to get drafted pretty well, pretty high. I mean, I don't know if it's high as some other Colorado kids. Hunter got drafted really high because he showed out. He was in 2 position skill sets in which he could do so well. Edge is one of those skill sets that you can show that well. Tackle, you can go ahead and just show up at the combine and do your thing and get measured and do it as well. So I think these kids will get drafted as high as they should. I don't know, yet to be seen. But the biggest thing is it's not a foregone conclusion that in 3 years they're going to be top 5 picks, top 10 picks. You got to get developed. The number of times Georgia, if you look down on the top 10 signees Georgia has ever signed, 5 of them are complete and utter busts. Couldn't make it 1 year in the league. NIL is wild because, again, these kids are lotto tickets. And I'm not talking about them like they're not humans. But they are, because it's skill and it's competition and it's football and it's weird and it's poetry in motion. Oil money is having a huge, giant impact, and it's going to shake up everything. You're not going to have deep rosters anymore. You're going to have a lot of turnover, which I don't know if college football recognizes this, but they seem to think, no, parity is good. No, it's not. When the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl every year, people watch. When the Niners are in the Super Bowl every year, people watch. When the Yankees and the Dodgers, and I hate the Yankees and Dodgers, are good every year, people watch. When Texas Tech is good, nobody watches. Colorado might have some local fanfare and sell out some seats. That's cool. Nationally, doesn't do anything. Deion Sanders is coming out on social media and saying, I need some of that money people are throwing around. Come on, Deion. When you don't have family ties and you can't threaten your kid to be kicked out of the house when he doesn't come play with you, it changes the thing a little bit, doesn't it, Deion? It's wild. I don't think it's going to be long lasting in college football. I think they're going to, this is the first 5 years into it. You got to weather the storm, after which is going to come much more regulation, in which those who actually make a good amount on their college football program will be able to use that rev sharing and the like, because when the best teams are good, when Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Miami. When those teams, Notre Dame, Stanford, Oregon, when those teams are good, college football is better. USC, UCLA. Hate to admit it, but it's true. We're going to come back after this, and I'm going to let you know. Look, Bobo's going to run the ball a lot, and you should be happy with him running the ball a lot because it's going. Wait, will it end in good things for Georgia? I'll answer that question next. This is a little third segment. You guys are here. We love you. We appreciate you so dang much. I'm talking about running the dang ball, Bobo, because every single time somebody tells me on third and whatever that we need to pass the ball, no more screens, but then somebody comes out and says, we run the ball too predictably. Draws are there. Outside zone is there. We need something besides zone left, zone right. We need to get some counter, some power game going on. And people misunderstand because if you actually look at the film, and by the way, we had Brooks Austin earlier on this week. He was fantastic. He did a whole segment on Gunnar Stockton film study, which, by the way, we showed out for that. Hit one of his highest rated viewerships this week. So good on you. Thanks for doing that. When you look at film, when you break things down, when you understand what is actually going on, it's not as simple as push the guy in front of you and be better. That's part of it. But when you break down film and you start looking at why run fits aren't working, why certain schemes aren't working, it's because of simple things like zone read to one side never really got Georgia more than 3 or 4 yards because Carson Beck and Stetson Bennett rarely kept it. When they did, it was on the run when they were in the pocket. Gunnar Stockton is going to add a different element to this entire offense where he is keeping people honest because he is a bulldozer. He is a horse back there running the football. Not only is he slinging it really, really well, and we're going to take shots. This year's Georgia offense, if spring was any indication, if reports out of camp are any indication with Colby Young and Noah Thomas, if Gunnar Stockton's report going to the SEC, it's going to be feast and famine. It's going to be 1 yard, 2 yard, 50 yard, 3 yard, 2 yard, 4 yard, 2 yard, 25 yard. It seems that that's going to be the case. And it seems that way in the run fits as well, because Nate Frazier is a dude who can go ahead and burn anytime he's on the field. I truly believe that. I really, really, really like his game a great deal. One of my favorite games of running backs that we've seen at Georgia in the last 3-4 years is James Cook-esque, but not just James Cook-esque. He's a little bit between James Cook and Swift, and I really like both of those guys. And when they were going great, oh man, this offense was clicking, because if you remember when they had just a sliver opening, they went ahead and got those 15, those 20-yard runs. Nick Chubb and Sony Michel were guys that just absolutely willed themselves more physicality than everybody else. Oklahoma game in the Rose Bowl, notwithstanding. That was insanely memorable. But when you have 15, 20-yard runs that aren't just willing themselves, but work within the system of the offensive line and Gunnar Stockton, what he's able to do, it sets up the entire offense well. It's not as simple as I want to throw the ball to the right side, so I'm going to throw the ball to the right side. That's when you get yourself in trouble. I want to run the ball to the left side. I'm going to run. When you get one-dimensional, when you get predictable, when you get forced into a system, it goes really bad and stagnant and boring. When Mike Bobo has at his disposal an absolute thumper in McCray, who, by the way, when he was a freshman, came in, had 112 carries as a true freshman, averaged close to 5 yards a carry, injuries in between sophomore and junior year, senior year gets really healthy, nearly had identical, same number of attempts, nearly same yards, nearly a better average, but 10 touchdowns last year to his freshman year. He's a senior. He has one more year. He's going to be the touchdown maker, the guy in between the boxes. Absolutely is going to be the bruiser. Nate Frazier is going to be the let's slash, let's get a couple of feet in the ground and push one direction and then absolutely make people whiff on you. That's his game. And then I'm going to go ahead and skirt around you so that you miss me by like a couple of inches. And the one-arm tackle is now you're not touching me and I get off for 20, 25 yards. But the Gunnar Stockton, the more I think about this coming year, the more I'm convinced we're going to have an actual, and dual threat is done. You have to be able to move, but there's a difference between being able to move and purposely running the football. Now, Gunnar Stockton may or may not turn into an NFL caliber starting quarterback. I have no idea. Truly don't. Have no clue. That's yet to be determined. But I do think in the college level, he's going to be absolutely dynamic and dangerous and venomous. If that defensive end or that linebacker does not step out and keep him honest, Gunnar Stockton has such quick ability to grab that ball and go running for days and get 8, 9 yards, 10 yards. And the second you do that is the second that a play comes in where it's that read option with that defensive end. Okay, just think about this. All game long, Gunner's been keeping it, or Nate Fraser's been bending it back and getting 10, 15 yards. And the coach is just in the ears saying, we're getting grounded and pounded. They're milking the clock. What is going on? 4, 5 times in a row, 6, 7, 8 yards. Boom, boom, boom. Been doing that all game. And then all of a sudden, Gunnar Stockton comes down. He fakes the read. He throws out to the screen off to the left with Branch, who gets behind 2 other big body, Oscar Delp and Noah Thomas on a side. You get Green, or you get Monroe Freeling pulling out as well after that. Ooh, now you're taking on defensive backs, and he gets 15 yards, and you're just getting chunked and chunked. And then Mike Bobo pulls out of his bag a little read option to the right, motion going that way, maybe even a tight end coming to that H-back motion middle of the line and then goes back. You get that read going that way. Linebacker goes ahead and sets up because he's been reading it well. He's on Gunnar Stockton. He's been shut down. And so Gunnar fakes the screen to the left to Branch. Gets that little RPO, that one man, right? That 2-man game out there. But on the backside, Colby Young is streaking. Wiley is streaking. Talon Taylor streaking. Oscar Delp is running that wheel on that side all of a sudden with that motion, that H-back motion coming in, the read option, the fake RPO, and then all of a sudden down the sideline, there goes Oscar Delp, there goes Colby Young, and it doesn't take, because all of that is taking 2-3 seconds to really getting into it, right? Right? And that time buys them enough to fling it, just laser it out on the run. Oscar Delp, touchdown. This is what is going to bring. This offense is going to look different than you or I have seen before at UGA, and certainly in the last 4 or 5 years. Certainly in the last 4 or 5 years. And it's going to be exciting, and I'm here for it. Run the dang ball, because it's going to set up this offense so much better for the longevity of this season, getting back to the national championship. I am Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Really excited to see you guys next week as the offseason continues. We'll see you guys then.